Everybody there? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do problem 1. And I do need you to show your steps. So you have 3 plus the square root of 2x minus 3 equals 8. Does anybody know what the first step is? We are not dividing by 3, but that's a good try. What's the first step? So you're going to subtract 3 from the left side, subtract 3 from the right side. So what is 3 minus 3? What are you left with? Square root of 2x minus 3. And what's the difference of 8 and 3? 5. So you notice we isolated the square root just like we did before. Do you see that? So now what do we have to do? Yeah, you're going to have to square the right side or the left side and square the right side. So what do you have now? 2x minus 3 equals 25. Our next step? Add 3. What happens when you have 3 minus 3? What do you have left? 2x and then 25 plus 3? 28. Divide by. So what does x equal? Okay, so how do we check? Can you do that for me? So we have 3 plus the square root of 2 times 14 minus 3. And what do we want it to equal? 8. Can somebody check? Actually, I want the whole class to check. Use your calculator. 2 times 14, isn't it? 2 times 14. It's not 2.14. Let me put parentheses. And let me see if I can have several people verify with the calculator. Otis, you're correct? Really? Yes? Is it correct? Okay. That wasn't too hard, right? Okay, it's going to get a little bit harder, right? Go to the next page. How is number 2 different than number 1? Yes, you got x's on both sides. So we got to figure out what's the answer going to be. Now you notice, do you see a word that's familiar to you there? Extraneous. Can anybody explain to me what is extraneous? Anybody explain to me what is extraneous? What does that know? What word is an extraneous? Do you see a word that's an extraneous? Extra. Extra solution, right? Extra. In other words, there might be another solution. There might not be an answer. Remember that? That's called an extraneous solution. In other words, you're going to get more than one answer, and one of them is going to be correct. Maybe 2 of them will be correct, but there might be some that are incorrect, right? You ready to start to solve this? So we have the square root of x plus 7 minus 5 equals x. And we want to isolate the radical. So can anybody tell me what do you think the first step would be? Huh? Can anybody tell me what's on the left side? Square root of x plus 7. Can anybody? Yeah, the left side, I mean. Can anybody tell me what's on the right side? Okay, so let's step back for a minute here. Can you tell me what our next step will be? Okay, so on the left side, you're going to raise it to the second power. What about the right side? Now you're squaring a binomial, right? You see you're squaring a binomial? How are we going to square a binomial? What did you say? It's x plus 5 times what? X plus 5. Was that familiar to you? Does anybody know what's the next step on the right side? Not yet. On the right side. FOIL. FOIL method. Remember the FOIL method? X times x. X squared. X times 5. 5 times x. 5 times 5. And then what do you have here? X plus 7, right? What do we do next? What do we do next? What is that called? Combine like terms. So what do we have? X squared plus what? And what do we have here? So how do we solve this? You see the left side? We need that to be gone, right? So how do we eliminate the left side? Subtract what? X. Subtract 7. What do you subtract x from? 10. What do you subtract 7 from? 25. What do you have left on the left side? Left side. What is it? 0. On the right side, what are you left with? X squared. What is 10x minus x? 25 minus 7? How do we solve this? You can solve using the quadratic formula, or you can solve using, what is the F? Remember that F word? Not the bad word. We were doing it right before the break. Factoring. Can we factor this? Do you remember how to factor x squared plus 9x plus 18? You guys need to know this for pre-cal. How do you factor x squared plus 9x plus 18? Find the factors of 18. What are the factors of 18? 9 and 2, that's not going to work, right? Because they have to add up to be the middle term. What is it? So what are the factors of x squared plus 9x plus 18? X plus what? 3, right? And x plus what? 6. Anybody know the next step? Yes. X plus 3 equals what? 0. X plus 6 equals what? 0. Can you tell me the two answers? Negative 3 and what? Negative 6. We might have extraneous answers. How do we check? How do we check if we have extraneous answers? Substitute. So let's check x equal negative 3. Use your calculator. Square root of negative 3 plus 7. Is that equal to negative 3 plus 5? Check. What's negative 3 plus 7? What's negative 3 plus 7? 4. What's the square root of 4? 2. What's negative 3 plus 5? Does that check? So what is the answer? X equals what? Negative 3. What do we have to check now? Can you check negative 6? Square root, what do we have? Plus 7. Does that equal negative 6 plus 5? What's negative 6 plus 7? Isn't it 1? What's the square root of 1? Isn't it 1? What's negative 6 plus 5? What's negative 6 plus 5? Negative 1. So does it check? So what does that tell us about negative 6? Isn't that extraneous? Is that an answer? So what's the only answer? Negative 3. Any questions? Was this one a longer problem? But my question is, do you know how to factor? How about if you couldn't factor, what would you use? Quadratic formula. You guys have to be good at factoring. Remember I told you I'm going to teach you how to factor. We're not going to do example 3. I'm going to leave that until tomorrow. Let's practice. So let's go to practice and application exercise. And we're going to do number 1 together. And I'm going to call on people. So be ready to answer me. You ready to answer? You're ready to answer the questions I give you, right? Right? Okay, so I'm glad that Debbie was ready to answer the first one. So Debbie will answer the first question. The square root of 3x plus 7 equals x minus 1. We're solving, and we want to see if we have any extraneous solutions. So Debbie, what is the first step? And you can ask somebody, Debbie, in the class if you want to. Actually, you want to isolate the radical. Is the radical already isolated? Okay. What is the word isolation? To set apart, right? Is the radical set apart? Okay. So what's the next step, Debbie? You can ask somebody. I'll wait. Okay, so on this left side, you're going to raise it to the second power. On the right side, you're going to raise it to the second power. Stephen, thank you for volunteering. On the left side, Stephen, what do we have? Gabriel? Can you tell me what you have on the right side? Keisha? What is our next step? Okay, aka FOIL method, right? So you're going to help me, Keisha. X times x. X times negative 1. Negative 1 times x. Negative 1 times negative 1. Sabrina? If you look at the right side of the equation, what do we have to do? We have x squared minus x plus 1. Okay, so tell me what we're going to have if we subtract. Oh, no, on the right side. What do we do on the right side? Combine like terms. So what do you have? X squared minus? No. What is negative x minus x? What's negative x minus x? Plus 1, right? So, Adrian, we have 3x plus 7. What do we have to do to 3x plus 7?
What?
We have 3x plus 7. What do we do with 3x plus 7? We don't want it there. You don't divide. No. Well, we don't want 3x plus 7 on the left side, so if we don't want it there, what do we have to do? So you subtract 3x and you subtract 7, but what do you subtract 3x and subtract 7 from? What do you subtract 3x and subtract 7 from? On the right side.
On the right side? Wait, what?
You subtract 3x from 2x, right? Negative 2x. And you subtract 7 from 1. What do you have on the left side now, Adrian? What is 3x minus 3x and what is 7 minus 7? What is 3x? 0 equals x squared. What is negative 2x minus 3x? What's 1 minus 7?
6.
Negative 6. Okay. Faith, we're going to solve this by factoring. What do we have to find the factors of? What are the factors of negative 6 that add up to be negative 5? So you have x minus 6, right? X minus 1. Otis, do you know what we have to do next? X minus 6 equals x minus 1 equals. What is the answer, Hannah? 6, x equals. What do we have to do now? What do we do next? We have square roots. Negative 3x minus 5 equals x plus 3. Did all of you find the second power for both sides? Yes? So you have negative 3x minus 5 equals x plus 3 times x plus 3. Did you do that? And then you did the FOIL method, x times x squared, x times 3, 3x, 3 times x, 3x, 3 times 3, 9, negative 3x minus 5. Then you have negative 3x minus 5 equals x squared plus 6x plus 9. Did you have that? Then you add 3x plus 5. 3x plus 5. The left side you have 0. So you have x squared plus 9x plus 14. You're going to solve the quadratic by factoring. What are the factors of x squared plus 9x plus 14? X plus what? 7. X plus what? 2. Did you get that? So you have x plus 7 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. So what does x equal? Negative 7. X equals what? Which is the only answer? Which one? Negative 2. So you have the square root. Negative 3 times negative 2 minus 5 has to equal the right side. Negative 2 plus 3. What's negative 2 plus 3? 1. What's negative 3 times negative 2? 6. What's 6 minus 5? What's the square root of 1? First step? A 5, right? Square root 3x plus 13 equals x plus 5. Shout out the next step. Square. You square the left side and you square the right side. Tell me what you have on the left side. on the right side? Okay, so the next step was the radical is eliminated, so you have 3x plus 13, and then you have x plus 5 raised to the second power. So it's x plus 5 times x plus 5. So we're going to focus our attention on the right side, so you're going to do the FOIL method. X times x, x times 5, 5 times x, 5 times 5. You focus your attention on the right side, combine like terms, x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. Subtract 3x, subtract 13. Subtract 3x from 10x, subtract 13 from 25. 0 equals x squared plus 7x plus 12. We're going to solve this by factoring. So the factors of x squared plus 7x plus 12. X plus what? 4. X plus what? 3. And our last step, x plus 4 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0. So what does x equal? X equals negative 4. And then we got to check for extraneous answers. How do you check for extraneous answers? Substitute. Does anybody know the answer? Negative 4. So we're going to check square root 3 times negative 4 plus 13 minus 5 huh? Okay. So it's negative, we're saying it's negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is 12. 12. Okay, is this right? 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 13 is 1. The square root of 1 is 1, so square root of 1 is 1 minus 5 gives you negative 4. That checks. And the other one? 3 times negative 3 plus 13 minus 5 equals negative 3. What's 3 times negative 3? 9 plus 13, square root of 4, minus 5 equals negative 3. What's the square root of 4? 2 minus 5. Is that negative 3? So both work?